Our journey begins in the medieval period when the concept of witchcraft was quite different from what we know today. Back then, it was associated with a form of old pagan folklore magic, rather than the devilish connotations it would later acquire. These practices were not initially considered heretical, but were seen as a remnant of the old ways, slowly fading away with the spread of Christianity. As we move into the late 15th century, we find a shift in attitudes, influenced by the infamous Malleus Maleficarum, a treatise on witchcraft published in 1487. This document, which argued the reality of witches and their pact with the devil, had a profound impact across Europe, including Sweden. Witchcraft was no longer seen as harmless old folklore, but rather as a dangerous threat to Christian society. The 16th century marked the beginning of the large-scale witch trials in Sweden, with the first major one taking place in 1593. Known as the Finspång witch trial, it resulted in the execution of 5 women, accused of abducting children and taking them to a witch's sabbath. This event set a precedent, and the following years saw the peak of witch trials in Sweden, with hundreds of people being accused and many executed. Perhaps the most notorious of these trials was the Torsaker witch trials in 1675, considered one of the largest witch trials in history. It resulted in the execution of 71 people, making it a dark chapter in Swedish history. By the late 17th century, however, the fervor of the witch hunts began to wane. The last execution for witchcraft in Sweden took place in 1704, marking the end of an era. In the centuries that followed, the perception of witchcraft in Sweden transformed once again. Today, it is more often viewed with curiosity and fascination, a part of the country's historical and cultural heritage rather than a threat. In summary, the history of witchcraft in Sweden is a tale of transformation, from old pagan practices to feared devilish pacts, from large-scale witch trials to a part of the cultural heritage. It is a journey that reflects the changing beliefs and fears of society over the centuries.